In episode 6, Joel and Ellie continue their journey to find the Fireflies and Tommy 3 months after the loss of Henry and Sam, now going further north, and everything's all snowy, and they're continuing to find supplies between breaks, camping out, and all that. And a little bit of a problem seems to occur when Ellie notices Joel having some sort of problem with his heart that he says is fine after it passes, but she doesn't see it too much that way with him advancing in age. But they keep going until they reach a certain point marked on a map they find known as the River of Death by Ellie, until they are met up with some people on horseback carrying guns, holding them up and telling them that they can either get out or be quote scanned for infection, which they do by using I think a German Shepherd or some sort of dog to sniff both Joel and Ellie for possible infection. It seems to be fine with Joel, but of course the moment gets more and more tense as we and Joel wonder what the dog's going to do with Ellie. But it all seems to be good as the dog just starts licking her, and she's petting it, all that, and they're led into their set up their base, but it's mostly just a town with some walls added, which is the town of Jackson. And they start going in, getting a nice view of the place, and Joel then notices something when he's kind of looking at the side, and it turns out that Tommy is actually in Jackson. He yells for him. He runs down the platform where he was working. They run to each other and they give a big hug, and it seems that everything is all good. They stop to eat at a sort of mess hall and talk and reminisce and all that, and sitting with them is who turns out to be Tommy's new wife, Maria, played by Retina Wesley. And there's a bit of hostility at first, mostly from the fact that they were pointing guns at them at first, but things get a little bit better from then. After a bit, Joel and Tommy talk a bit more in private, and Joel at first wants Tommy to leave with them, but of course Tommy doesn't want to do that, not only because he's now with Maria, but it turns out she's pregnant. So there's all of that, and Joel's a little bit not happy with it, so he just kind of walks off. Meanwhile, Ellie is sort of talking with Maria, figuring things out. She decides to give Ellie a haircut, saying that it's kind of messy and all that. And this leads to, conversation that ends with with Maria telling Ellie about Sarah and her own child, who also died, based on a chalkboard memorial on the mantle of the fireplace in a house there that she gave to Joel and Ellie for the night. And then we go from that tonight, where Maria takes Ellie to a group movie. Like pretty much the whole town is seeing this movie, and it seems to be a real movie from what I can tell. I couldn't tell what movie it is. It didn't seem familiar to me, but that's happening, and we cut to I guess a boot store or something like that, where Joel is fixing his boots, which we kind of saw earlier in the episode where he's trying to fix it with duct tape. But Tommy comes in giving him a new pair, and this leads to Joel mentioning to his brother what's up with Ellie and how she's immune, and that he feels he's better equipped to take care of her, because Joel tearfully admits that things have not gone well, and that he feels that she might, die in his care because of everything that's happened. And Tommy, thinks about it, saying that, I guess, man. And quite a bit later, after we have a brief moment in the movie theater where Tommy's talking to Maria, and Ellie seems to be catching it. Time passes, and Joel goes to the house and knocks on the one of the bedroom doors where Ellie is staying, and he's about to tell her that he's leaving her with Tommy, but she reveals that she knows this already, and he's trying to be sincere about it, but then she mentions Sarah, and he doesn't like that. And Ellie's talking about how she's lost people too, and Joel says that she does not know what loss is, but Ellie recounts this with that every person that she has met has either died or abandoned her, except for him. And that's kind of it. Both of them are speechless, but Joel just kind of walks out, unable to say much after. In the morning, Tommy and Ellie are preparing a horse to, or preparing a horse for Joel, I guess. But it turns out that Joel was wanting to, not do that. He was wanting to take it back. And in an almost instant, Ellie accepts this and, gives him a bag and says, "Let's go." And that's pretty much it. Joel gives Tommy a hug, and the two of them ride off out of Jackson, and somewhere out to try and find the fireflies. With that, we get a bunch of beautiful shots of them riding through the country in the snowy environment, which we saw quite a bit of earlier, but it's still really beautiful. And there's this one particular shot that I really loved, where it was from behind the horse, and it was in front of the sunset, and they're just slowly riding onward, and I thought that was a fantastic shot. There's also a bit where Joel's teaching Ellie to shoot a rifle, and she's saying that it's a crappy gun, but Joel's able to prove her wrong and get the shot, and then they just continue riding on. Eventually they make it to a city made around a type of university, and they go inside and investigate it and find that there's some medical supplies around and a list of stuff that some survivors made to go and search for outside. And they start hearing people, moving around. They go upstairs to only find that there's just a bunch of monkeys, rummaging through stuff and then jumping out the window and doing whatever. But then they actually hear real people coming through, possibly bandits or whatever, and they try to stealth their way over to the horse. But one guy gets the jump on Joel. He's able to overpower him and snap his neck, but it turns out that the guy was able to stab Joel in the side with what seems to be the broken handle of a baseball bat. Joel pulls it out and it ends up bleeding quite a bit, and they quickly get on the horse and get away from the other guys who try to chase them and also look over their friend or whatever. But they're able to get away, and after a moment they take some time to slow down, but Joel falls off the horse and onto the ground, clearly succumbing from his wound, and Ellie's trying to keep him up while she tries to get help, but he's not waking up. And that's the end of the episode. I thought this was a fantastic episode, despite the almost dick move of ending it at Joel on the ground. But he's obviously gonna live. I feel like even non-game players would know that because of how quick it cuts to black. There's no build up of it as if it's a real character death. I'm guessing that somewhere off screen in between this and the next episode, Ellie is going to have found someone to help them and to help heal Joel, give him shelter. But other than that, I really love this episode. The performances are great. Pedro Pascal nails it, just like he did in the first episode. Really great. All the performances are good nonetheless, though. And again, I haven't actually played the game entirely, but I've seen multiple clips of gameplay and mostly cutscenes, and I enjoyed how well they did the conversation between Joel and Ellie, of him, wanting to leave because he doesn't think he'll, be good taking care of her at that point, and her saying that she's been through a lot. All great stuff. As I said before, the visuals are amazing, definitely in this episode for sure. And that's about it. That's all I have to say. Great stuff. I am going to give episode 6 a 10 out of 10. I hope you enjoy this video like many of the others. Hope you maybe like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Until then, I will see you next time.